Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. It is Saturday, and it is 12:17. Me and my wife slept in late today. It's very unusually cold outside, and it's sunny and beautiful and unusually cold. So, I think it got really cold last night, and then it got, um, like, um, I think it's supposed to get cold tonight. And it was yesterday, like when I was walking around, it was like there were lots of flying bugs everywhere. They were just all over the place. And then today, they're gone because the cold got rid of them. So this last mid-April cold snap is doing us a lot of good. I feel like I could probably change the name of this uh, series to unit testing. Unit testing with Marty the Party. Um, and I feel like that's exactly we haven't even talked about an actual visualization in quite some time now because the full focus is on unit testing. And I have actually seen that scenario play out exactly like that in places um, that require unit testing. The I've seen where like um, like literally 90% of everyone's thoughts are all focused on unit testing and not on the actual mission. So I think that the unit testing is, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it because, I mean, I like it. Yeah, it's kind of like this. I have been enjoying this a lot, but we're not doing any visualizations anymore. It's almost like we built this entire application for just to work on unit tests, which is fine. Like I think that the true reason for me writing or doing this show at all, the truest of the true reasons, there's a ton of reasons, but the truest of the true reasons is to become better at articulating technology concepts, technical concepts, and that the unit tests have been wonderful for that. So, you know, but I definitely will say that it seems to suck all of the brain cycles away from the actual sort of imagination of trying to build something, and just it just absorbs them all, and because it's like just like a brain candy for it's like a brain drug for people who love technology, working with technologies. So I don't know, but I'm gonna keep doing this, and we'll see. We'll see. Like we literally could be in 2026, with hardly any actual new code written because all of the time is going on unit tests. We'll see how that goes. Or I could be wrong. It may not. But so basically the challenge, see, it's such a freaking just a tasty little challenge of is that we want to be able to run um, this create visualization, or we want to be able to get. Let's just do this npm run test. Let me open a new tab and drag the index over. Index HTML. Oh, I took my final exam in for my bankruptcy paralegal course, and got a 88.8, I think, on the final, And on the midterm, I got a 93, 92.8, 90, no, 93.3. And so the midterm is 40% of the grade, and the final is 50% of the grade. So I think if you add those two together and you average it out, I got like right at a 90, right there. But 10% of our grade is like we had to post. There was like questions like, do you believe that student loans should be dischargeable or not, and stuff like that. And so there was two of those that we had to do, and then as to get full credit, and then you had to also respond to two other people's posts, and you had to respond to them in a way that you brought new ideas to the table when you responded to them. And our teacher never did say what our grades were in that. So I don't know. I either got an A or a B in the class. I can't, because I think I could get a 0. I can't see getting a 0 because I did participate and I put in a true effort. But I could see me getting like an 8, 80% of that. And I think that might be enough to bring me slightly under an A. If I had like a 50 or 60 or something on those. So we'll see how that goes. But that was the first one. Everyone says your first paralegal course is going to be the hardest because, there's just reused terminology that, you're kind of coming up to speed on the basics and all that. But it'll be interesting because, I just don't see the profession of being just a straight up computer programmer being around much longer because, it's just like there used to be people who did algebra for a living. But, like it became like a basic skill that you needed to have. I think that's where we're headed with stuff. So, and I'm closing in on 60, but I would like, I don't see any reason not to work, till the end. And I'm hoping to, make it another 30-ish years. So, I don't think in 30 years or 25 years, my last 5 years of work, that I would, that there'll be full-time computer programmers anymore. I think it'll be a very interesting, like, conversation. There used to be these people, back in my day, we had full-time computer programmers. But anyway, so the problem that we're trying to deal with here, I believe it was an animation service, right? Yeah. Is that we're trying to get this to run. But in order to get this to run, we need visualizations. And in order to get visualizations, we need components. And so I need to get a component. So I can create visualization. So then when this visualization lays out, it'll traverse this for loop. And then, and it has to have a native element in it. So that is just a handful of very fun, interesting challenges that are going to come up in the path of making this happen. But the first challenge is we need to create a component in our unit tests. So, and we need to create a viz component. Viz. And so basically this is a viz component class. So we need to import that. So we're going to need to import viz component class from this, which we do something kind of similar in this spec. We actually import a viz component class. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to hit the Alt and the left button. And are we still, where are we? Where am I? I wonder what's a good way to just determine what file you're in this scenario. I guess this is highlighted here. It'd be nice if there was another. I guess, yeah, you can look here and you can see where you're at. But anyways, so I'm going to import that visualization component. I'm going to get rid of these. Boy, that was quite the adventure going down that path. And then we know it's not here. And oh, it looks like it might have some help for us. Yep. No. It says I can remove the import, or I can delete all used imports. That's the help. So dot, and then looks like we need to go back a little further. So I'm going to get rid of this dash dot dot. Is that too far back? Let's see, dot dot slash, and then dot dot slash, and then components slash viz, then slash, and then from our actual component itself. So we have our component imported. So that's fun. I have no idea. So I could ask, I think I could ask ChatGPT for help on this, but I do want to just sort of just muddle through it on my own, just for the fun of it. Now I want to go back into my biz spec and don't know why. Melissa, can you close the door for me? Unfortunately, my dog is about to get a bath and he's not happy about it. Or one of our dogs. We have 3 dogs, and one of the dogs that I don't talk about very often, his name is Snoopy, and he needs to get a bath. So we want to get this. We want to import our. So we created a test host component. So I believe this was just automatically built for us. So, or maybe not. I guess we did kind of go through something. So we created a component, and I guess in order to give it a ID, a render input ID, we have to pass it in that ID that we had just gotten before. So I guess I need to copy this. Copy. And then Alt back, and I guess I'll try to keep an eye right there to see where we're at. So we are in our viz spec, animation spec. That's where we want to be. So I think, I cannot remember. I think we did that here. And then we probably need to import component from, I don't know where this component comes from, if it comes from Angular testing or if it comes from the core. It probably comes from the core, but let's go look to see how we did that in here in our viz component spec. Okay, so it came from the core, which is what I thought. So our test was that I took yesterday for paralegal was open book, open notes, open internet, you know, like you're allowed to use anything. So I did make heavy use of ChatGPT. I did not actually change an answer. Like I would make an answer, then I would go ask ChatGPT for confirmation. But there was a couple times that ChatGPT was wrong, and it was really wrong in a weird place in that, like, so let's say you are going to file bankruptcy, but you are going to sell, like you have a car and it's got payments on it. There's this concept called a cram down, which is where you drive, they will change the price of the debt that you owe. They'll actually lower the interest rate, and or they'll make the interest rate whatever prime plus 2%, and they'll bring the debt down to on the car itself down to whatever the fair market price of that car is. That's called a cram down. But you have to have owned the car, been making payments on the car for 2.5 years. So I asked ChatGPT just to figure out what 2.5 years from the date was. So because I already knew it was 2.5 years and all that, and it gave me like the wrong date. It was weird. Like ChatGPT is just wrong in the strangest ways. Like it did, I was like, okay, when can I do this? And it said, oh, it actually, ChatGPT doesn't just give you an answer; it gives you an explanation. It was like, oh, it's 2.5 years, X number of days, blah 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 blah. So the date that they could file bankruptcy and qualify for a cram down is blah blah blah, and all that. Now, just to be clear, that does not get you off the hook for the other part. So they cram down and they make the debt, but the rest of the debt, like so, let's say the car's worth $10,000 and you owe 20,000 on it, and you get it crammed down. That other $10,000 becomes unsecured debt, which could possibly be discarded, like can't remember the word, discharged. So you might not have to pay it, but that's not a guarantee. And so if you're doing a Chapter 13, and that's where you continue to make payments, and then that becomes discharged debt. But then let's say you come into some money, or you get a job or a pay raise or something like that, a bonus, the trustee can come in and take that money. And it's really in the trustee's best interest to do that, because they get 5 to 10% of whatever they collect. So and they get it, I believe they only get 5 to 10% of unsecured data. So when you took that $10,000 and made it, it's in the trustee's best interest for that to become unsecured, because now that's another $1,000, $500 to $1,000 that they can get from you if the tides turn in your favor in the future. So, anyways, for some reason ChatGPT just gave me the wrong answer. Actually, just gave me the wrong answer for that. So I ended up searching on Google and getting the calculator, finding a date calculator, and using that to figure it out. But anyways, so now we have our component, and we've created a component. Now, the thing that stinks about this is I don't want to hard code the input ID. I want to actually use the input ID that I got here, or the what's it called? ST renderer input ID. So I want to get this ID and give it to it. So I don't know how this works. I don't know. So this is what's known as a decorator, and they actually seem to be going away from decorators in Angular. But I don't know if I can do this inside of the actual thing. Can I do this right here? Looks like it. And then I wonder how okay, so these are tick marks. So does that mean I can do we'll see. So these are tick marks. So it's kind of funny, because when this came out in JavaScript, I thought it was the stupidest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, this is so stupid. Why would we even have this mixed? Man, it is one of my favorite features. That it turned out to be one of my absolute favorite features. You know, you just get um, taught things all the time. So now let's do this. So it looks like that worked. I'm very curious. So now I have this component. What happens if I console log that? Test component. See, this is just such a fascinating problem to me. It's just so fascinating. And then, but like really, you know, is it, so yeah, there's our test component. Um, but really, like, is it, it has nothing to do with Three.js. It has nothing to do with really with Angular. That, you know, it's just fun. It's just really, really fun. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. But anyway, so now it looks like we can call what I wanted to call create visualization. So that would be in the visualization service. So it's service. I think it's called visualization service dot create visualization, and it wants the ID and the test component. Viz component. Okay, so it is not a, that is weird. What is it? Type viz component. Maybe, so this class is not an actual instance, I don't think, of it. So what did we do with that thing? And I hope I don't have to give up on this one. I'm a little like I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. But I guess I should, before I give up on it, I should ask ChatGPT for some help before I give up. Okay, so this, okay, so I want to go back to my viz component spec. And I want to see how I use this. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, that was my, oh, wait, what the heck? At component. Okay, class. Okay, so this decorates this class with that. Now, how did I use this thing? Oh, okay, so then before each, I imported it. And then in the test bed, I create a test component, create an actual component. So that's just the class of the component. So I definitely had a massive misunderstanding there. So it looks like I need to do this before, and then over here I'll create my test component. And I guess that create test component probably returns a component. And then I guess I could pass the fixture in. We'll see. So Alt left and just watch this up here. There we go. All right, so I want to move this code let's go ahead and comment this out. move that up here. And I mean, see, that's what's so frustrating, is I'm having a ball right now. I'm having a great time because I love writing code. And this is just writing code just to write code. This is just complex code. I'm not accomplishing anything, right? I'm not actually, we are not moving the application forward. Even we're putting tons and tons of energy into this, but getting no actual results, So like, I mean, if I was the manager of a place and I had developers working for me, the only way I would have unit tests is if that was like how I got juniors in. Or if I was trying to distribute knowledge across multiple people, I might say, and I had that kind of team and everybody was really cool and all that, I would be like, oh, okay, I'll write all your unit tests, or as a manager, so I can keep track, or maybe everybody writes everybody else's unit tests, so, or something like that. But I just can't see myself. But see, here's the problem: is I need an actual ID before I create this thing. And yeah, and just getting this, now that I remember, getting this was a hard enough task. Well, so I guess maybe before each. Okay. See, the problem is okay. So before each, I create my test bed, and I configure the testing module with this stuff. So, man, yeah, this is one. So the challenge, the thing is I need that ID, but I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to comment this out too. And so I guess before each, we'll see, can I get it to create? I don't know if this is the way I should do this, but st render get renderer by ID. Okay, so basically get base renderer. So I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna move this out of here, move it to the before each. And then like, does this have to be, can that be here? No, yeah, it can't be there because, yeah, so I think, okay, so when I configure, okay, so let's go back to here. Wrong one, this one. See, when I configure my testing module, I have to give it this test bed, this test component. But the test component has to already have the ID in it, and I can't get the ID before I create the test bed. It's just a classic chicken and egg situation here. So basically what I have here is code that's just like, I don't think it's unit testable. I don't think there's any way that I can, the way it is that I can, and it's, the problem is that the component itself, the way this this input is brought in is part of the challenge. And we did spend a good bit of time figuring out that I kind of had to do it that way. And the reason I had to do it that way is because it's a signals-based input. And since it's a signals-based input, you can't there was no good way, at least at the time, to there was like ChatGPT gave me a bunch of solutions, but none of them would work. Um, so I don't know what to do about this. I think I'm going to have to mock the visualization service. Um, and then in the visualization service, I'm going to have to give it visualizations. Um, yeah, it's going to have its own little fake visualizations in there, and then and then its little vizzes will have to have components that have native children in them, and they'll do that. So I don't know what to do, and it's kind of a bummer. So, anyways, what do I have in here? Okay, so I don't have any changes in here. Um, Now, the other thing I guess I might be able to do to really make this work a little better is I think maybe I can, if I can pass this in as a separate function, then what can happen is um, I think I can get credit for running that function, even if that function does anything, and then I can write another test that tests that function, and then all I have to come up with is a visualization for it, and um, and that visualization, yeah. So, anyways, uh, let's try that. So let's see where we're at. Let's hit the alt back. All right. Let's undo kind of a bunch of stuff. Control Z, kind of try to get where we were when I started this video. So like if you just like to flex your brain, right? Like you just like to challenge your brain. Like this is great. This is great stuff, But like if you want to do some ThreeJS stuff, this is not so great. Um, and I will say that everywhere I've ever worked where we had this kind of thing, um, we it all becomes all about the unit tests. You end up spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours getting the unit tests working and keeping them going and all that. It just absorbs all of the mental capacity of the team. I think it's a mistake. I'm really strongly starting to think it's a mistake to to do that to a team, to try to make them to make them do unit tests, unless obviously though there's all kinds of different environments, and there's some environments where like every piece of code, like literally, like you have so much to lose and you have plenty of time, like you're dominant in the field, and it can take 10 years for something to happen, and that's fine, so then I guess unit tests are going to add another layer of that. So yeah, so basically our problem is that we're trying to get this code to run. So I think my next, and I don't think brute forcing it is going to work. So I think what we're going to have to do is, and I don't really want to give up yet. I'm willing to give up, I'm willing to like, decide something's just not worth it. but I want to stay with this a little longer. Um, and so I think what I might be able to do is call this as a separate function. So, and what does this thing do? Um, and to be honest, it's better. That's better coding, you know. So the unit test is forcing me to improve my my code so that it is more testable. Um, but so what this thing does is it sets the locations, set position, and but you know think about it like I'm not even thinking about what this actually does, or even what my long-term goals are for this. I'm just thinking about getting the unit test passed. So like this set position could possibly be moving me in a direction that I'm not going to be happy with. That sort of locks. It could be having a architectural, forcing an architectural decision um, that I'm not going to be happy with. So like kind of, I think basically visualizations layout. So this is basically at some point the complexity in here is going to get a lot higher because you know like right now I just manually just kind of figure out. Um, oh no. So this is going to stay super simple because all this is going to do is read things and place them. So set position. I think that actually is even better. Um, and then I don't think that's going to return anything. And move that to the next line. Get rid of that space there because that freaks some people out. Let's copy this code down. Okay, and it's going to accept a viz. Love you too, Rat. Alright, so we're going to copy this. There to there. We're going to replace this. And I think that should just work. And then basically we just have to give it a visualization. And it has to have a native element. So now let's just say, I believe we can just type right in set position here now. And we'll see if it works. I don't think it's going to be a problem because even if we have a scoping issue, yeah, we shouldn't. Even if it doesn't know what this is, it would be very interesting though. I'm going to look at this. I think we've maintained scope, or I don't think we're going to have a. I don't know why I have that constant.
Hello.
And then what I will do here, so we can find it, is I will filter by the word this. So yeah, so this is undefined. We have lost scope. We don't need the scope, but we have lost the scope. Now I don't know if we can do a bind. Okay, so let's go ask ChatGPT about this. So I have this code. Yes. Holy sugar. Oh my goodness. How in the world did it know what my problem was? Like, I have this code. This, see, like, sometimes ChatGPT is just dumb as the day is long, and sometimes it is just like a psycho. Bind this. I tried to do that. Oops. I know I have solved. Oh, okay, so now let's try it. So let's look at the other choices. Um, see, I don't think I see. I think okay. I don't need to do this, so I'm just. I'm not going to do this. But I believe I will get credit for that executing that this line of code executing. Um, I don't think I would get credit for that. Well, I actually visualizations. I guess. Yeah. I guess I won't get credit for this. Um, I don't know. But this is better. I think this code, the way I've done it. Okay, so anyways, so let's hit save and just check out our that it worked. I'm not going to do that because I don't need it. Um, okay, so yeah, now I do have this. Now I do not need this context, but I did want to take the time at this moment to sort of explore that. Let's get rid of this. Now, I don't think I need this const here anymore. So, save. And now I'm actually not, I don't know if I helped myself at all from a unit test perspective, but I did make the code. I think I'm happier with the code the way it is now. So I just reloaded. Yep, so now, oh, so that is interesting. So it says, hey, yeah, you ran that. I was a little worried that it wouldn't mark this as that it would have like a little red part that said, this piece isn't, but no. So now I think we have made the problem a little easier because now we just need to um, we can explicitly call set position directly, but we do need a visualization to be able to call it. But yeah, so we went from like sort of layers of problems to a problem. So that is good. We have not done any like done anything fun with ThreeJS. So like the original mission is lost at this point. It's completely our eye is off the ball. The original mission is no longer a mission.
Right.
So, you got to keep that in mind, right? Like if you're a developer and they tell you have to do unit tests, you got to do unit tests. That's just the way things are. And it's really really hard because a lot of the people who love unit tests, like they just refuse to listen to reason. Um, but like if you're a manager and you're deciding whether you think your team should do unit tests or not, I mean, you got to realize that your developers' brains, they're not going to be thinking about your end users' problems or all that. They're going to be thinking about getting their unit tests to work because it's not easy. And it's fascinating. I guarantee there's a very good chance that if you have a very good developer who enjoys coding, that developer is going to be way more interested in writing unit tests than your problems. And so like you are putting basically mind candy out there um, for them to play with instead of your problems. Anyways, that is that. I guess tomorrow we will try to slay this dragon.
You ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready? It sounds like you're ready. But yeah, so tomorrow we will get down to this. Basically, we're going to call the set position. I do like this better, though. See, that's the freaking thing. Is I like this code better. I like it a lot better. This isn't any better. Yes, I like it. I like that. I do. But most people like this, right? Most people want something, they want their application to work. Not that this is now, higher quality, better quality code. Yeah, that is that, I don't know. I don't know. I probably said stuff that like nobody's gonna like what I said, but the reality is we've put a lot of time into unit tests, and it hasn't made this application the way this application works any better. But it probably has made my life easier because you know what? That's way more easy to sort of think about. But anyways, I need to figure out how to make a viz. Um, how to mock a visualization um, that has a component that has a render view child that has a native element.
You ready?
And so, I guess I'll ask ChatGPT. Let me just pass. And again, I say this every time I do something like this. Don't do this at work. Do not, unless it's okay. Don't post your actual production code into anything. There's just so many things that can come bite you. Don't post it into Stack Overflow. Don't post it onto Facebook. Don't post it anywhere. But so you've been warned.
You ready?
So it says I have a typo. Oh. That is weird. What did I do? What did I even do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I ended up. So, um, so, like to unit test this code. To mock viz. I guess I shouldn't do that. I should just say I would like to unit test this code and let it. Perfect. Oh my gosh.
Good girl.
That is nice. Mock element. So yeah, that might be pretty easy. And I mean, it feels good. It feels so good. Um, but we'll see. Bonus, use a helper to build a mock visualization. So, anyways, I guess we'll read over this tomorrow. Know exactly what to do, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow, this will be green. And yeah, that'll be cool. Anyways, yeah. So that's that. Uh, everybody, happy coding. Bye.